Hey family, I want to thank you guys for joining me today and welcome to my YouTube channel. If you are new here, welcome. My name is Joy and I am a believer, a mother of two kings, and a certified life coach. And I discuss topics that deal in the areas of self-love, self-identity and purpose, parenting, and just relationships and dating and marriage. And I just want to encourage you all who are listening and empower you all with godly wisdom and advice, things that I've learned over the years, things that I've learned from the Holy Spirit, and also just things that I've learned from my own personal experience. And I want to share those with you and empower you so that you can live a life of power, of purpose, and provision, a life of joy. So if you are new to this channel and that seems like something that kind of connects with your spirit, I would love for you to subscribe and join the family. And if you are already subscribed, thank you so much for supporting. I truly appreciate those who support me, and it's good to see you again. All right. Oh, I also want to say too, while on my channel, I focus on those topics that I mentioned before. If you kind of want to know me more in a casual setting, because I am a person who loves to travel, I am a foodie. I love art and photography and all those different types of things. You can always connect with me on Instagram. My handle is A Life of Joy 29 on IG. All right, y'all. So I want to get into today's topic because I remember watching a video not too long ago about the things, how you should evaluate a partner and someone who will serve as a potential partner. And I thought this was very important because I learned a lot from my last marriage. For those of you who don't know, I am divorced. I was married for almost 10 years and I am now divorced as of November of 2020. But I've learned a lot about that relationship and a lot on what to look for when it comes for a partner, when it comes to evaluating someone to see if you and that person are on in the same place. And I will provide a link to my talk on divorce and share my own personal testimony with divorce in the description box below. So when you get a chance, check it out. It is super long. I am so sorry, y'all. I am long-winded. I'm going to try to keep this video hopefully 20 minutes. But in that other video, I discussed divorce and marrying the wrong person and how that affects your life, your destiny, your purpose, and just sharing my own testimony about how God delivered me from my divorce, my unequally yoked marriage. And so I think it's important to understand what to look for in a partner and how you can tell if this person is right for you. Because again, these crucial factors are going to determine whether you're going to have a marriage of happiness, purpose, provision, legacy, love, all the things that we are looking for, all the blessings that we are looking for when it comes to a marriage, versus dealing with a bunch of conflict, pain, futility, lack, discord and division, and ultimately a lot of times leading to divorce. I would hope and pray that those of us who, when we go to the marriage, go to our marriage vows, we don't go with the automatic mindset of that we will end up in a divorce one day. And so the question is, how will you know if the person you are interested in is or are dating is the person that's right for you? And I think, let me deal with first and foremost, okay? First and foremost, which I wish I kind of knew more of back when I was dating my ex, was you need to know yourself. You need to know your purpose in life. I mean, your goals. Where are you going? Where is your destination? Because a lot of that is going to determine how you evaluate someone. If you're lost, You don't know yourself. You don't know what you deserve. You don't know who you are. You don't know the gifts and the talents and the call that God has on your life, or the things that you're passionate about that you want to accomplish. It's going to be hard to pick out a partner. And y'all, at the end of the day, we're looking for a partner. You're looking for a partner, someone who you two will come alongside each other to help propel the other into their destiny. And so it's of the utmost importance that you know yourself. I think the issue, because a lot of us are not taught this, the issue when it comes to our dating is that our dating is not very specific. Our dating is not very intentional. That's the word that I want to use. Our dating is not very intentional. When many of us go into the dating world, we go into it with, I'm just looking for somebody to be with, instead of saying, I'm looking for a partner to come alongside me in my vision. And again, this takes you kind of in your singleness, coming to a place of understanding your identity, growing in self-love and your purpose, and understanding who you are and why you're here on this earth, so that you can kind of have the right discernment when it comes to looking for somebody. And so when you kind of get a solidification of yourself, that's when you're able to look for a partner who shares the same values, the same beliefs, character, goals, and compatibility as yourself. And so this is what I sometimes find the problem when it comes to some of the advice that we're getting on how to date. I'm not saying that it's completely wrong. I'm not saying it's wrong. What I'm saying is, if I think back to my own marriage and my own dating process, it's definitely taught me a crucial aspect when it comes to solidifying, is that person right or wrong for you? And a lot of the advice that's being given is to ask them, the potential partner, direct questions about themselves, their beliefs, their values, to get an understanding if you two are compatible for one another. And let me tell y'all something. I'm going to be straight up. I did that exact thing when I dated my ex-husband. And let me tell you right now, he straight lied to my face. Lied to my face about a lot of things. And I'm not saying he did it because he's malicious and he's vindictive and he was a player. No, actually, no. I believe he did it because he knew that was the only way to get me. So he had to become the person that I wanted, or that he thought that I wanted, in order to be able to get my hand in marriage. And so I learned that while you should ask questions, and while it is important to know where this person stands when it comes to their faith, their belief, their character, their goals, their values, all those things, I'm going to come at you guys in a different way. I feel that the best way, if I could put this in a formula, the best way to really understand somebody and to figure out who they are, and if you guys line up, is to look at their actions plus time. You want to look at their actions and words, but most importantly, focus more on their actions, plus time, the time that is needed to let any truth come out, or the time that is needed for them to prove that their walk lines with their talk, and observation, and that will give you ultimately the revelation that you need. And I've come to understand that at the end of the day, people can better show you than they can tell you who they are. Because I'm going to be honest with you, a lot of times people don't even know who they are. And they think they know who they are, but they really don't. So if I can put this in some bullet points that you could look out for, is I'm going to give you 10 ways that you can evaluate a potential partner. Okay. And I wrote this down. So just as you see me looking at my notes, I want to say the most important thing, and the key crucial thing that you should kind of incorporate or integrate with all of these different bullet points that I'm going to give you, is that these things should happen naturally and organically over time, not through influence. And we're going to get into these 10 ways, okay? I'm sure there are many more, but these are, as I sat here and I talked about it and I thought about it, I'm like, man, I asked my ex many direct questions, and there are a lot of them he was completely dishonest on. And so we can't a lot of times go by people's words, because remember, people are trying to impress. They're trying to impress. And as you've heard in many other videos, a lot of times you're meeting their representative. So I'm the type of person, I want to meet the true person, and I want to get to that true person as quick as possible. And I want that for you too. So let's get into some of these ways. Number one, don't tell them about what you're looking for too quickly. I remember when I was dating, and we were out on our date, and I believe he probably asked me the question that most people will ask someone, is, what are you looking for in a man? And I went, he needs to be God-fearing, and I'm looking for this and that, and he needs to love God, and he needs to do this and that and that and this. And all I was doing was handing him my playbook. Again, I don't believe he was being malicious. There are some that are being malicious because they have a malicious goal. But there are some that truly desire just to be with you because they think you're an awesome person. They think that you're wife material, but yet they're not the material that they need to be. They're not the spouse material that they need to be in order to be compatible with you, but they want to appear that way to you. But if you reveal too much about what you're looking for in a partner, and about your likes and dislikes and all of that, what you're doing is handing them over. You're like, here's the playbook. There you go, read it, and you need to become that, what I'm asking you to become. And you need to see if that person is who is compatible for you naturally and organically. And so I would say, let me tell you, this is what I'm going to use next time. When they ask me that, I'm going to say, I'm looking for someone who is right for me, and I'll know it when I see it. So remember, I told you before, you should be doing the legwork already on your own to understand who you are, understand your purpose, what you're called to do, what you're passionate about, what your goals are already. And in that, you're writing down and formulating and getting together a certain person that you believe, based on what you understand and know about yourself, that that person needs to be or who they should be. Do not tell them. Do not tell them. Let them show you if they line up to who you've already kind of written down and described in your own personal time. All right. Number 2, you want to listen and observe their values through conversation and action and like interacting with them. When you speak on the phone, when you go out, listen to how they express their belief in things. Watch how they show their belief in things. Don't ask them, do you pray? Watch to see if they pray. When you go out and you sit down and they bring your food before you, don't ask, well, do you pray over your food? No, just see if they pray. You don't do nothing first. Kind of sit back and just see if they kind of pray over their food. If they say, hey, would you mind if we pray over our food? When you talk to them, listen to the conversation. Do they ever mention God? Do they ever mention their faith? Don't ask them about God. Don't ask them about their faith. See if they organically, on their own, mention it. Do they ever say, you know what, I thank God, today was such an awesome day. Let me tell you what happened to me. God worked so powerfully in this situation. You didn't ask for it, but you start to realize and see, okay, this person might have a relationship with the Lord. Do they ever mention prayer? If you call and say, oh man, my mom is having such back pain, do they say, you know what, before we get off the phone tonight, let's pray for your mother? Do you see what I'm saying? Like, don't ask them these direct questions. Don't even, honestly, I'm getting to the point, don't even ask them the questions. Just see who they are naturally and organically. And let that be the determination if they fall in line with you and with who you're looking for. Do they enjoy engaging in meaningful conversation instead of a bunch of superficial conversation? There should be balance. I'm not saying every time you guys need to dive 12 feet, 20 feet, 24 feet, but you need to have a balance. If that person's always talking about nonsense, reality TV, the latest drama, the latest gossip, y'all, let that speak for itself. Do they give hints about their future goals and how they're working towards achieving them? When you talk, really, let me tell you something. Let's just make this simple. The talk needs to be productive at the end of the day. There's time for leisure. There's always time for leisure, y'all. But God created mankind to be productive at the end of the day. And so when you're thinking about this person and what's coming out of their mouth and what's constantly on their mind, then you need to know, is it a mind of productivity or is it a mind of laziness and foolery? That's really what you're ultimately trying to figure out in talking to them. And again, let the conversation be very natural. Let it be very organic. Also, are they sexual in their words and actions? Do they got a kind of a slick mouth? What you got on? What you wearing right now? Ooh. Are they slick when you go out? Are they slick with their hands? Always trying to find a way to put their hands on you. That alone should speak loud and clear than any words of they being practicing abstinence, but every time you meet up, they got their hands all over your private parts. I think we listen more to the words of people, especially as women. Women, y'all know how we're led astray mostly by what we hear, what comes in through our ear gates. We need to be more observant about what we see through our eye gates instead of what comes into our ear gates. This is key right here. If I can give this last point for this bulletin, is do they keep their word when they say they're going to do something? Y'all, if anything is important, I cannot stand a person who don't keep their word. I'm talking about it's a habit. They're always not keeping their word. They always fall through on what they say they're going to do. And that tells you something. It means that they can't be trusted. It means that their word is just as good as dirt on the ground. So these are the things that you need to pay attention to. All right, let's go into number 3. You want to listen to their responses to scenarios, not direct questions, scenarios to reveal their character. Instead of asking straightforward and direct questions like, do you pray? Do you love God? Do you believe in God? Why don't you give scenarios and see how they respond to those scenarios? And those scenarios, how they respond to those scenarios will tell you if they believe in God. If you come to them and you say, oh man, you know what? I heard on the news the other day that they are trying to take prayer out of schools. And there was like this big debate about it. And what do you think about that? Well, how they respond to that will let you know, do they believe prayer is important? Do they believe prayer makes a difference? You don't have to directly ask them, do they pray? How they respond to things will let you know. How they respond to certain questions will let you know if they pray or not. You want to ask them questions, but you want to ask them in a way that's more indirect instead of direct, because what the indirect does is it bypasses all of the shenanigans and all the lying and the mask that we put on to impress people, and it gets to the heart of the matter. Some things that you can use. I'm a person who loves conversation, y'all. So if anybody knows me, they know I love to talk. And I love conversation. I love, love, love conversation. So I have these things naturally in my home already. This is called the Book of Questions. It asks you all different types of questions. Like if you found a wallet on the street with $1,000 in it, but you knew it was that person ahead of you, would you go and give them that wallet? Or you have things like table topics. I actually got this from Chick-fil-A, y'all. It came in the kids meal at Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A care about the mentality of our children. But you have table topics. You have, I have a little packet of questions here. Let me show y'all this real quick. Boom, questions, different questions. Find ways to get a hold of questions that ask and give certain scenarios that you can talk about with your potential partner, and see how they respond to it. That will say a lot more and give you a lot more information that you need versus using just direct questions towards them. Because remember, again, they want to impress you. So if you ask a question about God, then they feel that she must be into God. Let me answer that question in the affirmative. All right. You also want to listen and watch to how they treat and talk to people who service them or who they know they don't have anything to gain from. Homeless people, waiters, service workers, just people that they feel may feel that are beneath them. You want to see how they respond to them. How they respond if the waitress brings the wrong meal or didn't cook the steak well done. How do they respond to it? Do they show grace, or are they harsh and brutal when it comes to dealing with someone? So those will tell you and show you a lot more than any direct question ever will. All right, number 4. How do they view the opposite gender? This is an important one, especially with what's been going on with these red pill and blue pill and all these pills. Y'all, I don't keep up with all these pills. I don't know what it is, but there's alpha male and high value man and woman, and you want to see how your partner views the opposite sex. Are they always downing them and talking bad about them and negatively and blaming them for stuff? Like, for instance, ladies, when you speak to him, does he respect women, like the way he talks to them, or does he refer to them as groupies, fans, gold diggers, whores, hoes? You want to listen to how he talks about women. Men, is she always referring to, is the lady that you're seeing always referring to men as dogs and players? Oh, yes, men ain't no good. They always doing something, da-da-da-da. I'm not saying that these things don't happen, but you want to know, we should be looking at one another as kings and queens, as how can we help one another, not how can we kind of blame one another. But we want to say, how can we help one another? We see that there's shortcomings. We see that there's failure that the other opposite gender are dealing with, but how can we help them? How can we build them up instead of tear them down? You have to remember, at the end of the day, how they view the opposite gender is going to reveal a lot about how they're going to view you. So when something goes wrong, is he going to call you a gold digger? Because at the end of the day, all he understands women to be are gold diggers. Is she going to refer to you as a dog because you make a mistake, or a lying, no good son of a gun, because that's how she views men, and she really doesn't trust men. So you have to see how they view the opposite gender to know how they're going to view you when you're in a relationship with them. Y'all, this one is a good one. Number 5, check their social media. I know people like say, oh, a social media, it's not personal and it's not this and that. No. Check their social media. I don't want to say base everything on their social media, but that should, you should make some little marks in your head when you check their social media. And what I mean by that is, who or what do they follow on social media? If you, ladies, if you go to his page on his IG and you look, let me just check out his friends real quick, who he following, and you just see nothing but big booty Instagram models, that should tell you something. If you see Kevin Samuels, that should tell you something. If you see alpha male, red pill, blue pill, that should tell you something. You have to think, we're on social media, oh Lord, many of us, probably 70% of the day. That means you're feeding yourself, they're feeding themselves that information, that visual, that auditory, 70% of the day. Men, when you go on hers, does she follow a lot of bare-chested men? Every time you turn around, there's a bare-chested man. Or does she follow a bunch of flashy Instagram models who just want to post all the places they go and their bags and purses and shoes and Gucci and Versace this and glasses and that? You have to see, who are they being influenced by? Who are they being influenced by? And that will give you a peek. It's not, I wouldn't say you base everything on it, but it will give you a peek into maybe their mentality and maybe where they're at in their maturity level at that season of their life. All right. Number 6, can they be objective with their gender's shortcomings? So say you're talking about a conversation about, what men are doing, ladies, and he starts blaming, well, the reason why men act like this is because women do this and that and this, and instead of saying, you know what, we do deal with this and we need mentors. We need mentors and we need to take accountability. At the end of the day, you want to see, are they taking accountability for their gender's shortcomings and failures? Because remember, kind of we put ourselves as the representative of that gender, right? So if you're talking to her and you're like, I don't know what's going on with the women, but they're feeling like to just take advantage of men and just use and use them for what they have. And she goes, well, I mean, men been doing it for years. Men been doing it for years. It tells me that I'm not being objective with the situation. Because if we're going to be honest, women, they're kind of, the culture is producing and influencing women to be savages and to be gold diggers and to be materialistic, regardless of how long men been doing it. We need to take accountability for where we need to grow as men and women. And if you see that they're making justifications, if you see that they're making excuses, then that tells you that they're really making excuses for themselves. Because what it is when they hear you mention these shortcomings and these failures, they actually take it as a personal attack instead of a critique of what the generality of their gender is dealing with. They're taking it as more of a personal attack. And so they feel with their personal attack, they have to defend themselves. Be noting of that, okay? Number 7, are they taking personal accountability? And watch and see how big of an ego they have. When you mention something they could work on, something that they may have done incorrectly or approach you not in that right manner, are they defensive? And subjective? Are they willing to listen? Are they willing to say, you know what, I can kind of see where you're coming from. Actually, thank you for letting me know about that, and I'll work on it. You know what I mean? But are they like, well, what about you? What about you? You didn't tell me about you or what you did, your failures and shortcomings. You always want to come and bring up mine. No. At the end of the day, our life is about personal growth. We should be constantly in a humble state of growth. And if you cannot be in a humble state of growth, that means that you are still stagnant. And we have to understand that ego, men or women, is a serious issue in relationships. It is counterproductive to the health, the growth, and the love that is fostered in a relationship when there's ego present. And I'm talking about a lot of ego present. So you need to see that, is their ego humble enough to accept growth and accept responsibility and take accountability? All right. Personal growth should always be a factor in your relationship. So don't ever settle for that type of stagnancy. Number 8, the presence of personal conviction. Y'all, at the end of the day, you cannot be their Holy Spirit. I've seen people, and y'all, in my own marriage, there were times we argue because I'm trying to help him to see how this affects me, or he's trying to help me see. We're trying to help each other see, this is how you hurt me. And I'm not saying that sometimes it is subjective how you think you've been hurt, but sometimes it is objective. And what you need to be able to know is that, can they step outside of themselves or do a sort of introspection where you don't have to always be telling them you wronged me. Like, didn't you see that how you spoke to me was rude? So they need to have a conviction. Matter of fact, they need to come to you more often than not and say, you know what, I actually spoke to you wrong the other day and I want to apologize about that. That was wrong of me. Because that lets you know that the Holy Spirit is working in their life. If they can't come to you and admit anything that they did wrong, and you always got to be the one letting them know that you hurt me or you were being inconsiderate, rude, short-tempered, whatever you want to call it, it means they don't have any conviction. And that means that it will be causing you a lot of pain in your future relationship. It will be causing you a lot of pain. Number 9, pray for revelation. You know, at the end of the day, people can fool you. They can fool themselves, but can no one fool God? No one. And it is God who knows all and sees all. He sees right through people as if they were transparent. He sees down to the very heart. And if you feel that there's something still not sitting right and you need God to show you something and reveal something, better believe he will do it. And oftentimes, it's more quickly than we can expect. Matter of fact, God already knows if that person is right for you. So if you say, Lord, please, I just want you to solidify this person is right for you. You think he gonna want you to stay in something he know that's not right for you? A lot of times is we just ignore it. We ignore it. That's the issue. So I'm going to say pray. and be in constant communication and connection with God. All right, last one. Don't ignore the signs. You know what? You could follow all these little points, these bulletins that I gave you, these guidelines to a T. But if you, at the end of the day, take the truth that's being revealed to you and you brush it under the rug, make excuses and justifications for it, it means that you're more focused on not being alone rather than having your partner. And let me tell you something. Your partner is out there. Your king is out there, queens. Your queen is out there, kings. But the longer you waste your time with those who are not right for you, you will be pushing further and further away the one who is. Y'all, let's not waste time. Life is too short for us to waste time. If you see the red flags, have the courage enough to let something go. I'm not saying it's easy. Y'all, my phone don't even blow up anymore, y'all. I feel like I just feel all type of neglected. I'm like, well, dang, I'm cute. I'm stylish. You know what I'm saying? I'm smart. I'm intelligent. I love the Lord. And nobody be contacting me. Hey, yo, let me tell you something. And for a minute, I'm thinking like, well, Lord, is there not enough men? Then maybe there ain't enough men in the world. The Lord, like, there's enough men. Because let me tell you something. You put your behind on Instagram. You show your butt on Instagram. You're going to have many of DMs all day long. These men, the fish are plentiful when you don't have no standards. Plentiful. When you ain't got no standards, men be all up in your inbox. He said, the thing is, you have a purpose and a goal that you're achieving. There's not a lot of husbands out here. That's the problem. There's actually no shortage of men. Women, there are no shortage of men. There are a shortage of husbands. Men, there are no shortage of women. Well, there ain't hardly ever been no shortage of women. Y'all ain't had that problem. But there is a shortage of queens. And sad to say, it's becoming more prevalent now with the culture and what the culture is influencing and how the culture is influencing our queens today. So y'all, let's have the courage to let go and move on so that we can get and receive what God has for us. All right. This is not an exhaustive list. As a matter of fact, I'm sure many of you have some pointers, have some suggestions, and can think of other ways that you can kind of observe someone without asking them these questions that I was lied to. I mean, bold-faced, lied to me and my mama. So I'm sure you guys can think of other ways and other observations that you can use to evaluate whether someone is right for you. And please, I would love to hear them. Please share them in the comments below. What are some other ways or other tips that you can share with us on how to evaluate someone without asking direct questions to which they can lie to? My experience, like I said, with my ex-spouse showed me that I just can't go by words alone. And a lot of times I can't ask these questions that they can lie to. I got to give pop quizzes. You understand what I'm saying? I can't give tests that he can prepare for. I got to give him pop quizzes. And when they get them pop quizzes, either the person going to know the information and succeed and pass the test, or they going to fail miserably. So God has pretty much kind of showed me and just given me some wisdom through my own personal experience. And I just wanted to share that with you guys today. I'm so sorry I went 10 minutes over. But I pray that this information was helpful to you, and I pray that God will grant you, if you're in this situation right now, I pray that God will grant you the clarity in this situation, whatever you're trying to find out this person is right for you. If you need to speak with me, I will put my email in the description below. Please reach out to me. I am more than willing to give advice. You can comment down below and I can give advice in another video there. But y'all, let's stop wasting time. And let's put forth the time to be with the person that God has for us. Okay? I'm not going to take any much more of your time. Again, if you found this video helpful, like, share, and don't forget to subscribe. Love you all. See you in the next video.